Okay guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're back on iRacing in the MX5, and we're in a different series. This series allows tuning. We've got the shifter on. I've got it working really well. I'm used to it, and this race is one of the best races I've had on the game. You know, we're qualifying at the front very often now. I didn't get the perfect. I actually did a miss shift on my qualifying lap, which lost me maybe a tenth or two. But we were very close to pole position, as you've seen from that start there. I think it was under a tenth of a second. And we're going to go through to the start of the race now. As you see, the lights are about to go out. This is one of the best races I've had on the game so far, and it's a reason you really do need to watch this race all the way through, because it's got some absolutely amazing battling. So the 4 red lights are on and they're about to go off. And we get a reasonably good start as we're using the shifter now. We don't really lose any positions on the start anymore. If anything, we're gaining positions in most races. And starting the race, we just really wanted to concentrate on making sure we obviously keep that second place and seeing if we can put the guy in the lead under a bit of pressure. You can see we've got the other replay camera on the top right hand side, so you can see the action as it unfolds from the TV cameras whilst we're racing. We're going to go, as we were approaching turn 1, I really wanted to make sure, you know, this is an opportunity to get in the lead because you've got the slipstream. So we go out to the right just to make him think that we're going to throw one up there, but we obviously wasn't going to. We just wanted to get a nice tight line so we can get a clean exit from this corner. And we're really in the slipstream now. We're going to make our approach to try and get a move done here. I expected him to go very defensive down the right hand side, but he elected to go down the left hand side and just try and hold his line on the left hand side. I was quite surprised at that. So we went down the right hand side. And once we're in that position's ours from then onwards, really, because there's not really much you can do from there. So we get to keep the car nice and tight, making sure we don't brake too late, hard on the power. I think his plan was to try and go down the left-hand side there, but we were just about ahead, and we managed to just shut the door on him whilst making sure we don't make any contact. So we're in the lead now, and now it's a case of just defending this position and seeing how long we can stay in the lead. You know, there is a few opportunities to overtake on this track that we just had to try and defend the gain, and this was one of the best races I've had on the game in a long time. Probably the best race I've had so far in iRacing. You know, I've been playing the game now for about 8 weeks, 2 months or so, and it really is one of the best races I've came across. You know, respectful racing, clean, very close. Even on the last lap, it got within inches of contact, but I don't think there was actually any contact between ourselves. So going over the first lap, over the line for the lap 1. That's just about, you know, the lap time's not really relevant. I think our best lap we've done so far in the qualifying was a 45.0, but that condition wasn't the best. We had a race before this, and we had pretty much perfect conditions to set a really good lap time, and I completely misshifted and just couldn't get it back in gear, and we lost our time. We were on for about a 44.0 or 43.8, but you know, we didn't get it together, and annoyingly I lost loads of time on my shifting. But this race, conditions were good for qualifying, not the ultimate conditions you're going to get. And you can see now he's going to have a look down that right hand side. I can't really go to the right hand side because he's already there. He's got his car to the right hand side, so I've got to stay to the left and give him that space. So what I'm going to try and do is brake extremely late as I can, give him space on the inside, and to try and hold the line on the left hand side, so we get on the power as early as we can. Then we're on the left hand side. You look on that top right hand side to see the replay camera. You can see we just about managed to hold that position by just maintaining that line into that corner, and then running a little bit. We didn't get on the power as early as I would have liked them, and maybe I thought maybe you'd be able to get a little bit of a slipstream and throw one up the inside, but luckily we were safe there. So now again, it's just about holding this position. And the thing is as well, because the battling's so intense at this stage, and you're going very defensive in lines, we weren't really pulling away from 3rd, 4th or 5th. I think even though we had the speed to probably gain half a second a lap on these guys, you see we did that corner really well there and give us a nice little cushion going into turn 1, which really did help us out. So going into turn 1, just again, it's about trying to get nice and clean, making sure we don't take too much off that corner there, which gives us a ×1 penalty. And this corner, we seem to be okay on the exit. This didn't seem to be able to hold as much speed going into the corner as the car behind. Obviously this is a setup series, so you can change the setup. I did make some changes from the qualifying lap I did. I think I added a little bit more camber to the front just to try and get some more turning for this right hander mainly. I just did a few clicks extra on the front to try and get it turning. We'd already lowered it down a few clicks, just to try and get that rear end a little bit more stable so it doesn't wear the tyres out so much, because this is slightly longer race in the default series. You can see we're going very defensive. He's got our slipstream now, and he's going to stay behind us there, get as much slipstream as he can. He looks to the left, and luckily I think we've managed to hold enough speed going down that straight. Obviously now we're using that shift, then we're not using the paddle shifts. We can take auto clutch off now. We seem to be able to hold a lot more speed down the straights. We're able to, the biting point in between the gears is much better now, so we're not losing the speed compared to what we was with the paddle shifting, and it's actually making overtaking a little bit easier for ourselves now as well. So going into this corner now, you can see we've just pretty much got a safety margin now. I seem to be able to get a reasonably okay amount of gap between myself for the start straight. I was able to take this final corner reasonably well and maintain position going through turn 1. Sometimes you do find that on this track you can get an overtake done going after this corner if you do it really well, and then going into turn 1. But you can see there we seem to be able to give ourselves enough cushion. I don't think I went defensive on this corner too much. Yeah, I was going to go defensive and I chose not to because there wasn't really a need to do it. So again, going into the first corner again, we went over that curb, getting a nice line. I seem to like that early entry into that corner. It's a style I do adopt on a lot of tracks, a very early entry into corners and then trying to get on the power as early as I can. You can see now, again, we seem to be reasonably safe going into this corner. This is another overtaking opportunity is into this corner. If you can get your car really close behind, then the slipstream will throw one down the right hand side. So now this corner does give me some trouble. I seem to run quite wide. If you look at a lot of other cars when they're behind me, it takes a tighter line, but then I gain more speed down the straight with that wider exit. It's a really interesting bend because you can get some overtakes done on this from that corner going into this tight right hand. You can see again we're going defensive. I'm giving him a little bit of room down that right hand side, but not enough for him to make a move, just so I've got space to chuck it into this right hander a bit more. And again, we're managing to hold that line and keep our position. So he's still behind, and we're managing to hold this first place at the moment. I think we've got a slight little gap in between ourselves and third and fourth, but as soon as we're going to start battling again, they're going to probably close in a bit. You can see they're having a little battle as well, which is probably helping us just pull out a little bit again and giving a more true reflection on the race pace. As you can see, he got extremely close behind us there, really in our mirrors and showing us his front end, so we know he's there. It was really a case of just, I was constantly looking in the mirror to see whether to go defensive, whether to just take a normal line. Luckily again, I think on this last corner I seemed to be able to get a reasonably good exit from that corner and make sure I was safe. But I think I went defensive on this time, a little bit defensive, because I could see him in the mirror. Let's have a little look and see what we do. We go over to the middle of the track just to give ourselves a little bit more defensive. And the good thing about doing that is, as long as you hold the tight line through this corner, get on the power as early as you can, there's not much you can do on the outside, because the way the corner is, the camber tends to drag you over to the left, so staying tight is probably the best way to do that corner. And again, we're out the corner, still in the lead and maintaining. So we're on lap 5 now, coming up to halfway through the race, and it's been a good battle so far, but he's not managed to get past us. We've defended really well so far, so we're going to try and take that tight line through there and try and get a nice clean exit. Again, he's in our slipstream, so I'm going to have to go to that right hand side of the track again. It's how I defend for this corner. I just stick to that right hand side, let them go around the outside. They can still do a good move around the outside if they brake late enough, and then hold the inside for the next corner. It's a really good track for getting working out in your head where to defend, because of the next corner. There's so many overtaking opportunities if you do get next to each other. So again, we've managed to defend that line really well and keep ourselves in the lead of this race. So as you can see there, now looking in the mirror, we can see third and fourth dropping back a little bit more, so nearly 2 seconds behind now, because we're doing okay lap times. You can see there, I think we're in the mid 45s, 145.5, not amazing, obviously, because we're battling away and not taking the preferred lines every time, like into that tight right hander. It's not the optimal line for lap time, but we're managing to keep some okay pace together and just keeping it on the track. I have definitely found that with the shift there, I seem to be able to maintain more consistent race pace than with the paddle shift. It's really strange. It feels like the car turns in better with the shift. It's possibly because you're taking auto clutch off as well, why the car's turning in better. That's another thing that could be helping out. It tends to do that on project cars as well. I found the car tends to turn in a lot better when you've got auto clutch off. You can see he's gone down the right hand side now. He took an undercut on us and he's on our outside now. We're going to hold the left hand side while he's on our right hand side there, giving him some space. I could see in the mirror his rear end's there, so I could tell I was just about ahead. I didn't want to cut him off on that corner because I know if I did that it would take us both out. So we give him space on the right hand side. We try and break it a little bit later, give him some room down that right hand side, but leave ourselves enough room so we can get on the power to really drag our way out of this corner. You can see he's on our right hand side still, and we're going to have a little bit of a speed advantage going down the straight because we took that wider line. You can see in the mirror now we're slowly pulling ahead because we've got that wider line coming out of the corner, but he's got the inside line. I can't really close the door on him, so we're going to brake very late and try and hold a really wide line. He's now on our inside and battling. He's slightly ahead at this point, but again we've got the inside line into this left-hander, so I go into that corner, but I give him space on the right hand side because I know he's there on the right hand side. Going into the tight left-hander, sorry, and again he's on our right hand side. I went to go defensive there, but I realised I couldn't do it because he had already gone to that left-hand side making that corner. So what I had to do now is brake very late into this left-hander and try and hold a really wide line out that corner, get on the power as early as can, so I've got the inside line for this corner. Some absolutely amazing racing going on here. As you can see now, he's now on our left hand side, but I know if I hold this line, this corner isn't a corner you can really hold out on the outside line, so that position is just about ours and we keep it to ourselves there. Amazing racing there. As you can see, we're gonna have a little, I'll let you have a look at the replay camera from the helicopter at the end of the race so you can watch that properly. You know, you could have seen it going on in the top right hand corner as well. And I don't know if we did a little misshift there going down the straight, but I think we got away with it. I don't think it was this lap actually. I think it was a lap further on we misshift and make a mistake on that straight, but on this lap we're okay still. You can see how much that battling we did there. It was basically a whole lap of driving side by side has now give the guys in third and fourth a boost in terms of closing in on us. They're in our slipstream. You can see the lap is under a second now between basically the top four drivers because of that battling. I think that lap time was way off speed. You can see I think it was even close to is it 147 or 146 sorry, or something. So it was like over a second and a half off the speed really, and it just shows you how much time you're losing through battling. You can see again he's on our inside line. We're going to have to go try and break it very late again here and see if we can hold what we did before and hold the outside, but he seems to be a little bit further ahead this time, so he's out on that outside line. We're going to try it, but he's got the advantage there and he's in the lead. So now we've got to try and make sure we don't get overtaken from the guy in third place there. We shut the door on him there. Yeah, I think we had the right to do that. He didn't have his car next to us, and we ran really wide there. You can see we just wanted to get on the power to make sure he didn't throw a move on this left hand side. Just about got away with that with a little bit of control on the steering wheel. Now what we need to aim to do now is just try and get that position back. I know I had the speed to do it if I get in the position to do it, because we were very equally matched, and with the slipstream you get on this MX5 you do tend to get some overtaking opportunities. So one place I thought I might have an opportunity is down this straight, because obviously with the way I felt like I could take that a bit better and get very close to him down this straight. So we're going into his slipstream. He's going to go a little bit defensive there, but we're not close enough, so there was no point throwing one down the inside. I just have a little look, sneaky look, just to see, and there's just no chance of that. So we're going to stick into the slipstream, make sure we don't lose too much time. You can see the advantage we're pulling out. Again, as soon as we're able to race clean, we're pulling a little bit of an advantage over the third and fourth, and we're back to over a second ahead already. So you can see now I'm going to have a little look at the right hand side, just have a little, I tend to have a little look just so he knows I'm looking, and so you can see in the mirror I was having a little think of it, but obviously I wasn't just going to dive bomb him into that corner. Back into his slipstream, we took that reasonably well, but we ran quite wide. But the advantage you're going to get from running wide like that is you tend to carry more speed down the straight then. So we're into his slipstream, you can see the delta, we're actually ahead of our best lap that we've done in the race conditions, and we're going to go down to the right. I thought about looking there, dart back over to a little lift there because I didn't want to hit him as I darted over to the left, so we just get off the throttle and then back into the tight into that corner to make sure that we're staying in his slipstream and not losing too much time. You know, you really want to stay in the slipstream as much as you can to give yourself the opportunities of overtaking in other positions. So now going into this left-hander, again we're very close to the rear of his car. I'm going to have a little look down left, but there's just no chance of doing that. So again, I'm just keeping it cool and trying to keep the lines as best as I can. We keep it tight because I see him make a little mistake there. So I was thinking to myself, maybe if I can get a really good clean exit out of this corner, we might be able to get on the right hand side there and give ourselves an advantage, but there was just no way of doing that. You can see I had a little look, just let him know that I'm still looking for overtaking positions, and then going into this right hander, I wanted to get as close as I could for him, get on the power as early as I can. You can see really on the power as early as we can into his slipstream. Now this was an overtaking opportunity if I could do it. I have a little look down the right hand side, I can see he's gone defensive, so I'm going to have a little look again, but there was just no way I could do that. That would have just been a stupid dive bomb, but I don't know if he thought we were there, he gave us space. So we're down the right hand side, we're side by side pretty much again now, going into this left hander. There's no way I'm going to really be able to make a move there, so I'll get back, tuck back into his slipstream as early as I can, just so we can try and make a move onto that back straight and the middle sector. So going into this tight round, show him that I'm there again, but get back over to the left so I can get a nice clean exit of from this corner to give myself that overtaking position. So again, we're in the slipstream, we're going to have a little look to see if we can pull a move off. I think he's going to go defensive here, so he's gone to that right hand side, get himself in the defensive position. I'm going to dart over to the left in a minute once I've utilised as much slipstream as I think I can. I'm going to slip out of that, go to the left hand side and try and brake as late as I possibly can. You can see we're braking pretty much on the 50, braking extremely late, taking a wide line. You look in that top right hand corner, you can see what I was trying to do, trying to get the inside line for this corner. You can see we just about done it there and got the inside line, and we're just about squeezing. We managed to get ourselves in the lead, and we've managed to get our line for this corner a little bit better, but you can see we got a little bit of a back end slide in through that corner, so we're going to have to again give him space into this left hand corner. But I know if I give him the space there and keep a reasonably good speed through there and keep the the line for this right hander, I know that position should still be mine. So we're getting on the power as early as we can, obviously on that inside line. It's a little bit more grip than on that outside line, and then again going into this fast right, he's got to just give that position back up. So we're back in the lead, and we've got 3 laps to go. So now we just need to be able to hold that position again for 3 more laps. You know, we had managed to do it for I think 5 or 6 laps at the start of the race. Again, we're going to have to see if we can hold him off for the final few laps. And you can see again in the mirror, we've got, I think they might have caught up a little bit again because of the battling that's going on, and he's managed to get us on the inside. I should have really have closed that door earlier than that, but you know, I wanted to make sure I didn't take any risks and take us both out of the race, because we were having a brilliant race in this. And again, I'm into his slipstream, so we've got to try and think about our position, how we're going to get this position back. So we're going to have a little look down the left hand side this time. I've seen him go defensive, and I thought this is a good opportunity now because he's on that inside line. I can still take my normalish line and get a really good exit speed from this corner and tuck back into his slipstream as quick as possible. So we've already got the advantage in the speed, getting into his slipstream, and I'm already in a good overtaking position. So again, we're going to try the overtaking move that we've done twice already in this race, going wide down the outside of this tight right hander and trying to maintain better speed. So we brake later than him. Again, we seem to be able to brake very late for that corner. He tries to hold us as much as he can, but I think this position back end nearly went there. We managed to save it, and again we've got ourselves into the position of keeping that first position, and luckily we've given ourselves a nice entry into this corner, so we've got some good speed out of there, and he's not going to be able to make a move into this corner now. So luckily we're just about back in first place after losing it straight away, and we've got again just a few laps left of this race. An absolutely amazing race. This just shows you why iRacing is probably the best place for sim racing in terms of the racing. It really is intense when you're involved with races like this. So going into the final corner, he's looking in our mirror there. I'm just trying to concentrate on the lines, keeping the car clean. I didn't want to run too far wide there, lose any speed down this straight. And then going through into 5th gear, we're going to try and make sure we hold this line, and you see he's getting in our slipstream, and we've got that inside line covered there. That's you know, the only risk you make is getting the undercut again, but I managed to get on the power reasonably well and make sure I've got the inside line into this left-hander. So staying in the lead with just 2 laps to go. This was just getting extremely intense now. You can see the guy in 3rd and 4th were again closing in us because of the battling we're doing. He's having a little look down that left-hand side. We're going to try and hold the tight line this time, how he was doing it, but try and keep a bit better speed. So I go nice and tight in on that corner, hold the inside line to the curb, and then get on the power as early as I can, and use the shifter to just, I was really slamming the gear shift at this stage, trying to make sure I was not losing anything in terms of acceleration. So again, we're going to try and brake as late as we possibly can. Going into this right hand corner, we brake very late, but obviously on the inside line you can't brake quite as late because you don't have as much track to work with, but luckily we've managed to hold that line. You can see there, held the line, held the position. So at the moment it's looking okay for the win, but they're going to go and try and keep a good speed out of that corner. We ran a little bit wide again, you know, it was starting to get a little bit intense now, trying to make sure I use every little bit of speed I can. And we've covered that position into that corner, which he did try to make a few overtakes on. He managed to pull a few moves off there, but luckily we were able to defend it because of the nature of the track and the way the corners come. You can just keep thinking about the next corner. It's something you always have to do in simulation racing is always think about the corners that are coming up and where you need to hold that line. You can see he's getting a little bit punchy with his where he's throwing his car. He's actually lost a fair bit there. I think he braked a little bit late going into that corner. Has lost a little bit of momentum down this straight, which has given us a nice little buffer going into this final lap. I really did think at this stage this race was mine. So going into this right hander, we did that reasonably well, held reasonably good speed, and then it was about just getting the line right for this corner, holding a nice tight line to that curb, and then going into the right hander again. Again, we look like we've got a reasonably okay buffer. It's not as big as that lead you can see in the top right hand corner on the TV camera. It's not a massive lead. He's in our slipstream, he's gained a fair bit there, so we just need to try and get a nice exit from this corner. You can see we've gone a little bit, you can hear the back tyres screeching, trying to give up the grip on me. So I'm going to go down the right hand side and just try and brake late again. This is just where I just wanted to brake late and make sure he didn't make a move. I could see the slipstream he was getting. Obviously the car's running very low on fuel now, so he's got more straight line speed and he's got a massive slipstream. I tried to brake really late. We actually outbrake ourselves quite badly, and you can see I'm just about hold it on the track going into third gear. Tried to stay on the left hand side, but I nearly I tried my hardest to stay on that inside line, and then again I've lost that position. We both trying to give it everything around this corner. You can see how close we both came to taking ourselves out on that corner, literally inches away from hitting the wall. I tried then to go around the outside and just get myself, and literally I don't even think there was collision there. No, there was no collision there. You can see on the top screen, no collision, but it came extremely close. I just knew at this stage there was not much I could do now. It was just about just hoping that he didn't get the final corner perfect. But unfortunately for ourselves, he held his nerve, he braked it a little bit earlier, not much you can do there. So it's just about going over the line in formation, and an absolutely amazing race. You can see top three covered, very short amount. I think we did have a pace advantage, but only 2 tenths in it over the line, and probably one of the best races I've had on this game so far. An absolutely amazing battle. What I'm going to do, you know, I pulled up to him here, just give it a little rev of the engine to say thank you for that race, because that was an absolute brilliant race. I really enjoyed that battle we had there. So what I will do now is I'm going to show you guys the replay from the helicopter from that lap, just to show you how long that lasted, that battle. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this race. Really enjoyable for myself. Hopefully we can get some more content for this game, you know, soon. I'm not able at the moment in the position to get more content, but I'd love to be able to bring more GT3 races, etc., you know, of quality like this. It's just so enjoyable when you're involved with races that are as clean and as respectful as this. Anyway guys, thanks again for watching. Make sure you throw a subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and make sure you click that like button if you've enjoyed this video. I really do appreciate them likes. Thanks again guys.